everybody. This is Mel Coppola. I'm an Eden educator and mentor, and I have a business called Hearts and Care, which is focused on person-directed care training and coaching, as well as building awareness of ageism and ableism. So how are y'all doing in this new world in which we find ourselves? I hope you're doing okay, honestly. But I've been all over the spectrum of emotions since this thing started, and sometimes I truly struggle with all that's happening. When I'm struggling, I hear the words of my friend Hope Carwile, who says, "It's okay to not be okay." And those words help me. But another thing that really helps me is something I learned through Eden. Words make worlds, right? The words we use can shift the way we think about things, and that results in a shift in the way we respond or behave. So here's an example I want to share with you. Years ago, this happened. I asked a friend if she wanted to go to a concert or a show or something. I don't even know what it was. But what I remember is she said she couldn't afford it. She was broke. And I had thought that way before, and I knew that was not a good place to be. I suggested she change her words and how she thought about money. And instead of saying she couldn't afford something and was broke, say that she chose to spend her money in other ways, even if that was on rent and food and basics, right? But that subtle shift put her in a place of control over how her money was spent. And she wasn't broke. She was choosing what was important. She was no longer coming from a place of scarcity. That slight shift in language made a huge shift in her mind and in how she handled her money going forward. So here's another one I want to share, and it involves three tiny words. I have to. Have you ever said that? I have to go to work. I have to cook dinner for my family. What do you think when you hear the words, I have to? Well, it makes me think there's something that someone else is wanting me to do or asking me or requiring me to do. So in other words, someone else is in control, and I'm the one who has to comply to their wishes, their wants, their desires. So think about replacing I have to with three other words. I get to. So if someone asked me what I was doing this afternoon, instead of saying I have to do this Eden moment, I say I get to do this Eden moment. Wow, do you hear the difference? When you say I get to, you actually change the inflection in your voice, and there's an excitement underlying the words. And I feel like when I make this switch, I'm coming from a place of gratitude and privilege, and that's such an awesome place to be coming from, especially now. So I want you to try it. I get to go to work. All of a sudden, you think of the blessing that a job is when so many are unable to work. I get to cook dinner for my family. It's a blessing to have a family when so many people don't have anyone to cook for or to eat with. And it's a blessing that you have food to feed your family. So in the midst of COVID-19, we keep reading and hearing all the things we have to do. But what if we change that in our heads to, we get to do these things? Like wearing masks. Do we love it? No, I sure don't. But we get to. So repeat after me. I get to wear a mask and go to the store because so many no longer can. I get to offer a kindness to others by wearing a mask. With these thoughts, I acknowledge how privileged and blessed I am. I get to, not I have to. This last one I want to talk to you about is social distancing. We've heard a lot about that. But think about those words. Social. By definition, social is needing companionship and therefore best being in community, right? Here's the definition of distancing: to make someone far off or remote in position and kind of to declare that one is not connected, okay? So when you think about it, social distancing is an oxymoron. In fact, the term was first used in 1957 as an attitude of aloofness in a deliberate attempt to socially distance oneself, be socially distant from society. But, let's face it, we're social beings. We're wired for connectedness. But to act out of love during this pandemic and be with each other in a place of love, we must keep apart. So do we socially distance? I think what we need to do is physically distance. Stay connected socially, but keep apart physically in love and in kindness. So to wrap up today, I pray you keep yourself well during this time. And if you come up with some other words to use to help change your thoughts and your actions, I hope you'll share them with us. Thank you for letting me be with you today during this Eden moment.